Okay, so here's the alarm disc lock, right? And so it's got the 7mm bolt that is supposed to fit through one of these vent holes on the disc brake. And so all you do is you set it up so that it fits in the slot. But before you do that, make sure you loop in the reminder cable, and then you just find the slot and push it in. And then you heard the beep that alarms it. And then you want to hook the other end up to the handlebars, right? And if it shakes, you hear a single beep. If you bang against it, it's a warning. There it is. It's 120 decibels. I don't know if it could be louder. And then to turn it off. Hello and welcome to Random Things. This is Ty. Today I want to show you this disc lock that I picked up on Amazon. This particular one is made by, I don't really know how to pronounce it, but if you go on Amazon and you just kind of search disc locks or bike disc locks, you'll see a bunch of them, including Kryptonite and some of the more well-known main brands like A-Bus and Kryptonite. So this particular one was pretty cheap. It was around 20 bucks, and it has an alarm feature so that when you shake it, it should alarm. And so out of the box, or at least what comes in the box, is you have the actual lock itself, and then it actually has this, basically this Allen wrench so that I guess you can take it apart if you need to. I'm not really sure why, but I'm just going to go ahead and set this little sucker aside. Right, so here's the lock itself. Comes with 2 keys, a charging cable because this has an internal battery and it's rechargeable, and then a reminder cable, and I'll show you what that's about a little later, and then a handy dandy carrying pouch so that you can store your lock and carry it on your bike. Okay, so let's talk about the actual bike lock features a little bit more. So this particular one, it's not a name brand, so the metal is probably some kind of zinc alloy, so it's probably pretty soft. But again, locks are really there to keep the honest people honest. Really what it's doing is it's buying you some time so that you can go into a store really quick, and also it's letting the thieves kind of look for other easier targets. If you have a bunch of different locks on your bike, it makes it, I guess, harder for thieves to try to steal your bike. So they'll look for something easier. Now, what I'm talking about is really not an overnight situation where you're not going to be around, there's not a lot of people. But this is more of a situation where you are at maybe riding along the bike path and you just want to stop and go into 7-Eleven and get a drink real fast, so you want to lock this up real fast. So this is something more for something that's like 5 to 30 minutes or a couple hours in a well-populated place. But again, if a thief really wants your bike, they're going to figure out a way to steal it. This is just a deterrent, right? And this lock has an alarm feature, and so that has an internal battery, and so there's a charging port. This cover is a little weak, so we'll see, right? So again, this lock has a shake sensor. To arm it, you push it down, you hear it beep, right? And if it shakes, you hear a single beep. If you bang against it, it's a warning. There it is. It's 120 decibels. I don't know if it could be louder. And then to turn it off, pop the lock up, right? And so what I find is the shake sensor it's okay. It's not as sensitive as I would like it, but hopefully if the thief is trying to pick the lock, it will actually sense some motion this way where they're pushing against the lock. So hopefully somebody will hear that and actually look over and help out. Okay, so let's talk about how to use the lock. As you saw earlier, we put it on the front disc. Again, the pin is supposed to go into one of the vent holes. What's really important about using one of these, especially if you're new to using one of these, is this particular cable. It is a reminder cable. And what it does is it reminds you that you have a lock on your disc. And then that way you don't write off without taking the lock off, because then you can do some serious damage both to your bike and to yourself, right? And the way this works is on the other end, it hooks up to your bike handlebar, right? That way when you walk up to your bike, you see, oh yeah, I have my disc lock on, and so I want to make sure I take it off before I ride off and enjoy the rest of your ride. So, you know, I was looking up like how do you defeat this lock, and from what I can tell is the way you can defeat the lock is if you had a portable hacksaw, like a sawzall, you can slip a blade in between here in the disc and cut the bolt, because these bolts aren't made of super hard steel, so it can be cut through. So again, this particular lock is more of a deterrent. I wouldn't call it like, hey, I can leave it in the streets of New York overnight and it'll be fine. Definitely not that type of lock, but it is a good enough deterrent where a bike thief would really have to have that specialty tool to kind of defeat this lock. Or we're not talking about lock picking, because you know a good lock picker can always pick a lock. So with that, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit the like and share button. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. That would really help me out. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next random video.